So back to the webinar. So false and true confidence. So false confidence is the one that most people are looking for out there in their lives. So they're trying to feel better, more confident, stronger inside themselves by having something to back them up. So it could be a situation, someone, a diploma, more money, whatever it is. And that is relying on something outside yourself to change a feeling out inside yourself, which doesn't make any sense because nothing out there can actually change. It can help and trigger, but it doesn't have the control to change. So that's false confidence because we keep looking or waiting most of the time. Once I do that, once I know that, once I get that response, once I have that number of clients, whatever it is in your life, then I'll feel more confident. And that's a trap because the true confidence, that we're going to be talking more about it, which I'm calling true confidence, is the one that you find inside yourself. So it doesn't matter if you have a diploma, degree, if you have money, if you're in a relationship, it doesn't matter. It matters what you choose to think and feel. And that's where confidence comes from. And we're going to, dive into it more. But this is what I mean by false and true confidence. And yeah, so I believe there is such a thing. There is, because someone asked me, sent me a message and said, but is there such a thing? I said, I believe so, because I think that's why so many people get stuck and don't go beyond what they want to, and they don't actually get to create what they want to create because they freeze, because they think they don't have the confidence, and they keep waiting for that confidence to arrive from outside. So, as I said, the way we're going to do this is I'm gonna talk about where it comes from, why we want confidence, and how to get it. So it's where it comes from, why do we want confidence, and how to get it, and then space for Q&A. So to start with, I'd love to play a little bit and just see where you guys are. There's no right or wrong. It's just to really kind of exercise our minds and our beliefs and what we actually are fed by information. I'm going to do a little quiz here, and you can either just raise your hand or put something on the chat, whatever you prefer. So I'm going to say some things, and I'd love to hear what you think. So do you believe that we are born confident? Raise your hand if you believe yes. Okay. And do you think you can, or we can, fake confidence? Okay, so Frederic believes that we are born confident. I think that's the one for the first one. Do you think we can fake confidence, guys? Yes, raise your hand or just put in the chat. Or nod your head. I see Emily there nodding her head. Do you think you need to be an extrovert to be confident? Yes. No. Okay. Yes, Emily thinks yes. Frederic thinks no. I don't know about David, but you can, whenever, David, if you want to, you can share. Confident people have no insecurities. Do you believe that? Yes or no? Emily is saying no. Okay. Confidence means you like public speaking. I love that one. Do you believe that? I mean, Frederic saying true confidence, yes. False, no. Okay, for the previous question. Okay, that confident people have no insecurities. Thank you. Confidence means you like public speaking. Do you believe that? Being on stage, speaking. Yes or no? Yes, raise your hand or shake your head or write in the chat. Okay, can be, not a fact. Okay, Frederic, thank you. And the last one, confident people are arrogant. I heard that and I read that before as well. No, yes, no. No, hey, great. I would say maybe, yeah, there is a type maybe trying to, like, anyway, I'm going to go through everything here. So you're not born confident. You become confident. You train yourself to be confident by doing different things that we're going to be talking about. Maybe some people are more extrovert and others more introvert, and that's not, doesn't mean confidence. You can fake confidence, yes. You can use, fake like tools and like power positions, whatever it is, to become more confident. You can use your body or your, clothes or whatever it is that makes you feel or trick that confidence in you or kind of stimulate that. You have to be an extrovert to be confident? Not really. Actually, I was just searching today. Did you guys know that Barack Obama and Nelson Mandela, big, people speaking out there, they are introverts. So it's actually myth. No, these are all myths. So there are unsure extroverts, like they're not really confident in themselves. They might appear like they're confident, but they are not, or in some areas they're not. And there are confident introverts. So it doesn't mean that an introvert person can feel and be confident. It's a myth. And there's the other way around as well. As I said, like people who are extroverts and are not actually confident. They use that fake, not use, but it might be that fake there in a different way, that they kind of look and sound confident, but they are not. Not all the time, of course. So the next one was confident means you like public speaking. Not true. There's lots and lots of famous people, again, like Barack Obama, Nelson Mandela, that they just get, like trained and they exercise, they get it wrong and they keep doing, and they just get used to it. And that looks like and appears like, oh, they're totally comfortable out there. Not necessarily, but they're doing their job. And confident people are arrogant? Well, that's a big judgment, but I don't think so, unless it's used in a way that is, not the confidence we are wanting to create here today. So thank you for taking part in the quiz. That was fun. And so we're going to be talking now about where confidence comes from. So as I said at the start, usually people are looking for confidence outside themselves. So they're looking for something to back them up. So they might think that by having a certain degree will get them to feel more confident, or if they have a certain situation, or if they have more money in the bank, or if they have a stable relationship, whatever it is, that will make them feel confident. And actually that doesn't, it's an illusion. As I said, confidence comes from inside, it's a feeling. So the inside is like, if you are able and if you know how to handle your mindset and your emotions, that's where you're going to get confidence from. So it doesn't matter, as I said, and I'm sure you can find examples in your life or around you, people who have money or are in a relationship, whatever it is, have degrees and have skills and have, like what we think it's success, or they're well known, they are not necessarily confident. Inside, they might not be feeling confident, because it's really knowing how to handle any kind of uncomfortable feeling inside of you that makes you confident, and the mindset as well. So why do we want to become confident, or why do we want to be confident? Any ideas? I've got some here. So I'll share mine. Usually we want to be confident to avoid failure. So we want to feel confident and be confident, so it's going to be comfortable to do something. That's why we want to, have that feeling. It's like, oh yeah, once I have that feeling, it's going to be so much easier to do this thing I want to do. So like, I want to be assertive. I want to know what to say, or basically that example, like I want to jump out of the airplane, and, I want to be ready to do that when I'm there. And that's not really what happens. I jumped from an airplane once, by the way, like 30 years ago. And I can still remember that moment. I wasn't confident. I did the training, I know I had the whole thing. And then I'm there standing on the door of the airplane. I don't want to go. I was so scared. Of course, that's an extreme situation, but it is the why we want to become confident or be confident is to make it easier, make the whatever you want to do, the step you want to take, easier to take with kind of comfort. But the thing is, we believe things should be easy. Once I have confidence, I can then do what I want to do. And we compare, and that's a big thing, a big trap. We compare our beginnings, like never done that, with someone else's end. So when people already are there, they've been there, they've done it, and it looks amazing and beautiful, and you go, wow, I just wanted the same thing. I want to do the same thing. I want to get there. And we think it's just like, we just need to learn the step. And it's not, they went through a whole journey of, feeling scared and failing until they got there. So let's not compare, because that's why we want to be confident. So to kind of just jump to where that end is and like be ready. And life is not really like that, in case you haven't realized. I realize that every day anyway, but here we go. And there's another one, which is, well, I can't succeed in that certain thing I want to do because I haven't succeeded yet. So I want to feel confident first, then I'll succeed. Well, again, it's the other way around, right? So I love thinking about a little toddler learning how to, or baby, to walk. So we've all been there. We've been there, and it's just like trying to stand up and kind of make a move, and then it falls, and then it kind of cries and it gets hurt, and then it kind of, okay, slowly and surely, eventually, after a few minutes, maybe it will stand up again, and it wobble, and it will fall, until eventually it will start taking a few steps and walk, because that's, otherwise we wouldn't be here. We all do that. But I mean, imagine if that little baby thought, well, I don't know how to walk. I've never walked in my life. It looks really difficult. Imagine all this kind of rationality going on. I'm not even going to try it because it looks so difficult. So it's the same thing we're doing. Well, we've never done something. It's new. Say you want to maybe start a new business, or you want to be, or start a relationship, or you want to start a new hobby, maybe just, doesn't need to be anything enormous. Could be kind of cooking or doing something new, but you go, oh, but actually, no, I'm not confident enough because I've never done it. So therefore, I'll never be able to do it. So it's like wanting to cook something and you've never cooked, and you have the recipe book and, whatever, you Google things, but then it comes the thought, well, I've never cooked, so I'll not even get the saucepan out because it's not going to work. So that's why we want confidence. And it doesn't, of course, as I said before, it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't work that way, because you're going to be waiting for something to change to then feel confident, change outside. So as I said, or maybe I didn't, but I did say that confidence comes from inside. So that means it's a feeling. It's a feeling that starts with a thought. Every feeling, is a trigger, even though we're not aware of it a lot of the time. It's coming from a thought. So confidence is a feeling, and it's based on the perception that we have of ourselves regardless of any tangible external reality. I mean, what is that? It equals freedom for me. So imagine, this is what confidence is. It doesn't matter your background, your situation, your education. You can feel confident regardless any of the external reality or circumstance, because it's a feeling, and a feeling you can create inside of yourself. So remember, money in the bank, success, being well known or whatever, does not equal confidence. So now you're free to go. I'm joking, because it's up to us. So how do we do that then? Not yet how, but it's like you need to start observing. It's an inner observation, an inner conversation inside yourself about when you're feeling scared of doing something, and not feeling, how can I say, scared by your fear, but actually, okay, let me look about, look at this fear. Let me see what's going on. Why is this fear there? Why is it telling me? What am I scared of? Because many people don't even go there. They don't want to know because they feel scared and they run away from the fear, thinking they're going to avoid or stop the fear, but then the fear gets just bigger and bigger. So this inner conversation is super, super important. But before we get to the how we do this, how we can get more confident, some examples, about not actually doing things because we are scared is like, as I said, we're scared of failing because it's going to hurt. We think it's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. So we just don't do it. I'm not going to even try. But that's like staying safe in this kind of place we think it's going to be comfortable, but it's actually uncomfortable because we don't grow. We don't kind of let us expand to what we really dream and want to create. And that's, for me, it's to stay small. You stay kind of safe. It's an illusionary safe, but you stay small. You don't really embody or embrace, as I would say, your purpose. I totally believe we have a purpose, a beautiful life purpose, whatever it is, to really flourish and become more and more every day with little and big things. So we think, okay, let's just stay here. And it could be something like, this relationship will never work because I'm too impatient, and I'm not even going to start this relationship. So I'll just stay where I am and basically, be unhappy, miserable. Not that we're so aware of that choice, but this is what we're choosing. We're choosing to stay small, or not try new things, not expand. And actually, I have an example. When I started coaching, I remember so clearly, because I'm from Brazil and I was doing, my training was in English. And me and my husband, we had a business together. We were having a business coach coaching us for the business. And I remember him saying, so I was starting, the coaching as well. And he said, so are you going to, how is it going to be? You're going to coach in English? I said, no, I think I'm going to coach only in Portuguese, because we're trying to define, how to market and everything. He said, well, why? I said, well, because I feel a bit uncomfortable. He said, why? And of course, it was uncomfortable to get into the why. But I was uncomfortable because of my accent. I was fluent, but speaking and coaching people in English, I was like, oh no. And then, we kind of got into the whys, the reasons being, oh, well, my accent it's going to get on the way, or maybe people are not going to be able to understand what I'm saying, and or maybe they're going to have judgments about me, or my, all this, my own stuff kind of really clouding up my brain and myself, because I was just, my preference was to keep small, just do familiar, to the Brazilian market or Portuguese, and that would be easier. And that's just fine. He said, well, you know what? I think this is exactly then what you need to go for if it feels challenging. And I'm like, oh, really? So it was like, okay, it was accepting the challenge, but then getting uncomfortable as I was trying it out, and being kind of more comfortable with the idea and with myself. And everything, it was just like mostly my mind. Actually, now uh, I'm at a stage that this is, I think, the ultimate thing about confidence. Like, I don't actually mind or even care what people think about my accent. I'm here delivering what I need to deliver and helping, how I can help. And if it serves people, then it will serve the people who are ready for this. So, but anyway, I thought I would bring this example because I clearly remember trying to maybe not, maybe I'll just start with the Portuguese Brazilian mark. So think again. So anyway, I'm so glad he challenged me, and yeah, I did this. And I'm here today talking to you in English anyway. So let's try not to fail ahead of time, because that's what we end up doing by not doing, and by keeping ourselves like, oh no, I'm not feeling confident enough, so I'm not going to do it. Because then we don't learn and we don't grow and we don't have fun in life. Because for me, this is what the fun is in life, is to kind of grow and get challenged and get hurt. Is part of the whole thing. I know it sounds a bit like crazy fun, but like having this adventure and not taking things so seriously, but as an experiment. That's how I see life anyway. So basically what we have is a choice of, I call it like trading off discomfort. So it's either like we stay like in the comfort zone, which is not really comfortable. It's kind of cozy. It's under a blanket, but it's like, oh, but I want to be more. I want to do more, but I'm scared. I'm just going to stay under the blanket and not get out there into the wild of life. So that's like stagnation. So we have that discomfort of being the same and staying the same, or the other discomfort, which is the unknown, because that's what confidence invites us when we want confidence. And this is the other confidence, not the false. This is the true confidence. It's like when we go, okay, I don't know how this is going to be. I'm really scared. I'm not sure what people are going to think. And I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to embrace and jump from the airplane, like the unknown. And that's very uncomfortable. It's super uncomfortable. So please don't imagine or think that I'm saying that true confidence is nice and pleasant and fun. It's super scary, but that's part of creating the confidence. Confidence is not going to come and just, ready to feel ready and easy. So it is uncomfortable, it is scary, but that's part of getting confident and experiencing and growing. So that's the trade-off. So you just pick and choose. You decide which one serves me better, which one is serving you better in whatever situation. Of course, every situation, every new choice, every new dream you have, every new desire is going to require a new cycle of getting confident. And the more you do it, the more your muscle is like getting more kind of stronger and stronger. And I'm not saying that it's going to become easier, because of course it depends on the situation. It could be like a totally different situation. Like one is maybe starting a relationship, and then the next one in a few years or the year after is like starting a new business, totally new challenges, or maybe starting a new hobby. So it is an ongoing, amazing, scary, but fun adventure. That's what I want to say. So I just want to see where you are right now before I continue, before we get into the how we get there. So between 1 and 10, maybe you can put a number, or you can just say if you have any. I mean, we're going to have questions towards the end, but you can just say if you are following me, if it makes any sense, if you have any remarks. But anyway, just kind of trying to see where you are. So I'm not speaking all the time without interacting with you. Let's see. Okay, I need to see the chat here. Okay. Great. Let's keep going then. Okay, so how do we do it? How do you get confidence? Where do we get, well, where we know, but how then we do this process? And just a reminder that if you are, or if you catch yourself, because now you know kind of the process in some ways, but if you're trying to get confidence from your talents and your abilities and your bank account and from your age, that's a very big one as well. You're doing it backwards. You're doing it backwards. So you need to work on yourself first, and then you're gonna go and do your thing. So basically, I mean, it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Confidence we get by taking action, failing or not failing, learning from it, rinsing and repeat. It's like that jump from the airplane, but I'll explain in detail a bit more. So, of course, before you take action, there's an inner kind of step there, which is, as what I said before, look first to see what's holding you back, what is the fear there. And then, because if you take action, like, how can I explain? If you're feeling fear and you're taking action, take action anyway, it might work. But when you look to investigate, not like spend hours or days or become that fear, but it's like, oh, what am I scared of? And really even list down, oh, that what people are going to think about me, or that I'm going to, I don't know, fall during that run, whatever it is, or I'm going to get it wrong. It's basically getting it wrong, failing. Just by looking at it, you don't sometimes need to do many times anything about it. Just recognizing that fear is super helpful. And then you can take action by, if you're ready, choosing a different thought if it's something you feel comfortable with, rather than, oh, this is not going to work. Well, actually, I'm going to try. This is playing with your thoughts. I'm going to not take it too seriously, this new experiment I'm doing, and then take the action without expecting, that's the trick, that it's going to be a success. It's a lot of actions, and you're gonna get wrong anyway, so let's just do and kind of learn. So this is so precious to remember, not to take action for the things you want to create thinking that you're going to get it perfect the first time. Remember the toddler, the baby. It's such a helpful image to have in our minds. It's not going to work I think it's nearly impossible, but something you want to create new. It could be, as again, a relationship, it could be a job situation, business, hobby. It's like practice, like cooking. It's like riding a bike. So I don't know, or driving a car. It's not we get the instructions and start going and that's it the first time. We get it wrong, and that's fine. So if you work on your mindset first, like, okay, I'm going to take the first action, then the second, third, fourth, whatever, and I'm prepared to get it wrong, or to adjust, or not to get it exactly how I want it. This is such a relief for your being and for your brain and for the whole experience. You create a totally different experience for yourself, even if you're not like getting it exactly or succeeding. So success, of course, is very relative, and it's very good to question yourself what succeeding and success would mean to you there. So take action, fail or not, maybe it works the way you were expecting, but keep doing. So, okay, this is done. It worked the way I wanted the first time. I went on this run and I'm fine, whatever it is. Keep doing, keep improving yourself and learning from it rather than blaming yourself or blaming the situation. Okay, I went and I did what I wanted to do. It was okay. What have I learned? Without judging, but just like so you can use it the next time. And rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So important. And I think most of us human beings think, okay, I'll do it maybe 3-4 times, 10 max, and that's going to be my limit. I think if I don't actually get or create the result by, that month, whatever, that means I'm a failure. So that is the big mistake we make, I think. It takes much more time than we imagine, which doesn't mean it needs to be, exhausting or anything. It's like riding the wave, being like a surfer. And yeah, surfer is a very good example. The waves and the surfing is not always like what they expect. And if you watch, I love watching people surfing. Never done it. I don't think I'll ever will. Maybe one day. But it's amazing. They just keep going and they just keep enjoying being in the sea. And I was in Portugal last year, and in Nazaré, they have these giant waves. They weren't giant yet because it wasn't November, but they are training there, and it's fascinating to see them training and keep, like just riding the waves for hours over and over again. So I'm going to tell you now the 4 C's, which is super helpful to put into the steps of creating confidence. And the 4 C's are by Dan Sullivan. He's a coach. He's really an amazing guy. And it's helped so much. I use it a lot with myself, with my clients, to create confidence, to improve confidence if you already have in something you can improve, and to maintain that confidence. So I think that's such a very important combination: create, improve, and maintain. So the first one is commitment. So if you have commitment to do something, like that desire, I really want to do it and I'm going to do it. That's the first step. So taking, the action that I said, or wanting to create whatever the result is, you need to have the commitment. If you don't have a commitment, that's number one, nothing will actually happen. You're not going to get not only confidence, but to the result you want. So you have to make that choice and be committed to it. Okay, that's the first one, but it's not the most important one. The most important one is number 2, which is courage. That's the most difficult one, most challenging one, but the most important one on the creation of confidence and of the result you want to create. Because, of course, courage, we think, okay, once I have confidence, I'm going to jump from the airplane. No, it's not. You need courage to do it anyway, to jump into the unknown. So it's like, I'm going to try it out. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll do it. I'm going to go. So courage is what's going to build capability and create confidence. So I'd love to now make a little exercise, or do a little exercise with you. And you can do it in silence. You can share afterwards if you want to, but you don't need to. I'd like to invite you now just to take a minute to think, remember, and I'm so sure all of you will have some example in your life of a situation. It could be recent, it could be from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't know, depending on your age, when you're a toddler, whatever, that, well, maybe a toddler you wouldn't remember, but that you wanted so much to do something and you didn't really know how it was going to turn out. And you're feeling quite scared, but you actually did it anyway. Doesn't matter what result you got. Doesn't matter, how you went afterwards, but you took that step. Think about the airplane and putting your first, I remember this moment. So try and remember kind of, I would call it a milestone. That's a milestone. It doesn't matter how big or small in your life. When you did something, you're feeling scared, but you did it anyway, and it felt good afterwards because you did it. It's like, oh, you're liking that kind of indecision, but then you went for it without totally knowing what the outcome was going to be. So if you're able to remember this situation, just connect to the feeling that it brings to you. You might even want to share on the chat if you want, don't need to. But what is the feeling that comes with a smart memory of something you did? Not before, because before, just as you're doing, maybe it be fear, but what was this feeling? Or what's the feeling when you remember what you did? And that's really magical, because that's a memory that is super useful to go back to. And you can have, of course, more situations to bring that feeling of confidence and of, yes, I can do this, for any situation you have. So it's very, I use that a lot in coaching, to really remember things and get feelings. We call it like to borrow feelings. You can create a feeling right here and right now, depending on what you have in your mind. So this is such an amazing thing to do, to go back and remember, and just remember that you were there. You could be there again and again and again. It's really a matter of doing it. And maybe now in your life you have a situation that you're feeling a little bit scared. You're not quite there, ready to take the first step. So I'd love you to take that with you, to remember what you've just done. That it's a proof that you can do it, and going back there is super helpful. So once you pass courage, or not pass, but once you take that step, even when you have a fear, and actually a beautiful example of this is, I'll give it to you because it's good to illustrating, is a client that I had, and he was super scared of taking the next step in his career in some ways, because he worked for 40 years. Yeah, he's older than me, not that I'm that young, but he worked for a government organization, and he was ready to retire. He needed to retire, he needed to leave his job, and he was postponing it for nearly a year and a half. And he wanted to leave and to start something new, but he was super scared for different reasons. He was scared to talk to his boss. He was scared to what was going to happen when he didn't have that job anymore. What was he going to do with his life? And the money wasn't a problem because he has a really good pension now. He has retired, but he was scared to take the step, and he was scared about what was, he was going to be doing with his day. So he was kind of frozen, and that's why, he came to me and we start coaching. So he had the commitment. He was really like, I want to leave my job. It's past the time for me to retire. So I want to do it, but I'm really scared. So once he looked at the fear and became okay with the fear, so because the fear is part of an emotion as a human being that we all have and we always have, he was then able to accept that fear, because when he came to me, he thought I would help him not to feel fearful anymore and then do what he needed to do. I said, well, it's a little bit more complex than that. Let's feel the fear. Not in a bad way, but it's feeling the uncomfortable feeling. And he probably thought I didn't really, sign up to feel uncomfortable. But that's the gift, because once we can feel the fear, and what is fear anyway? It's just a sensation going through our body. It's nothing but that. We have this whole idea that it's a monster, or it's an institution, or it's whatever. it's not, it's just a sensation. So once we just kind of let it pass through, it will go and will get transformed. I assure you. So that was what he did. He was able to then, and when you do that, you actually become so much more powerful. You become so much more full of yourself in a good sense to really do what you want to do. Because if you give power to fear, it freezes you. So anyway, there's my friend. He did all this. He said, okay. I said, yo, you ready? Because his first step was um, to give the notice to his boss. And that was like really shaking him. He said, I think I am. Okay, we worked on that for a couple of sessions. So the next session he comes and he says, yeah, so I talked to my boss. I said, really? Oh, wow, congratulations, amazing. How did it go? Yeah, it went okay. I said, but tell me, how did you do it? What, how did it happen? He said, well, actually, it didn't happen. I didn't do anything. I said, really? What do you mean? I said, after our session, the day after, he went to work and his boss came to me because I think they had a group thing that my client wasn't part of, whatever day, a kind of a meeting. He said, oh, we missed you in that meeting, so it'd be nice to catch up. Shall we go out for lunch, just you and me? So the situation kind of unfolded for him because he was in that space of readiness. So that's the ultimate example. I love giving that example because he didn't even need to approach his boss and say, look, I need to talk to you. His boss came to me. So how magical and amazing is that? So, and it's true. So yeah, it's amazing. It's the vibration that we start vibrating once we kind of, oh, okay, we just get comfortable with the fear and be out there to embrace life. It's really amazing and very inspiring. So that's the example of this client on the courage step, which means fear is going to be around. It's part of life, as I said, but it no longer sits in the driver's seat. That's a big difference. So when you're driving your life, fear will be there, but we'll just be quiet, or you can put it in the back seat if you prefer. Sometimes you just need to, but you are the one in charge. You are driving the car. You are driving your life, and you gotta go, yes, I hear you, I see you, I kind of feel you, fear, but you know what? I'm in charge, and I'm the one who's gonna decide where we're going and how we're doing this. I'm driving the car on this trip. So it's a very different thing than letting fear take over and you just sit there passively, freeze, and feel and empowered. What's the word? Yeah, and disempowered. Sorry, and that's a very different game. So the third step after you do that beautiful work and jump out of the airplane, go talk to your boss, talk to your partner, talk to whoever, to your dog, but something you need to do is you learn that actually it didn't rape me, I didn't die. Oh, okay, I thought I was gonna die, because that's what the primitive brain tells us. Don't do that, because if you do, it's gonna be the end of your life. It's gonna be the end of the world. You're gonna die, basically. That's, like we used to think that way when you were in the cave kind of time, but we're not anymore. So you can go, okay, I hear you, but you know what? I know better now. I'm evolved. I'm, in this 21st century, and it's gonna be fine. We're not gonna die. I'm not gonna. So when you do that, you learn, or you get the capabilities. So the first C is commitment. The second C is courage. And then when you take the step, the most important one, to have the courage, take the step, comes capability. And once you develop this capability, what happens is you create confidence. That's it, guys. It's so amazing. You create confidence, and then you have the recipe for every other situation that you are wanting to do something new, and it's a new challenge, and you don't have the courage or the confidence or the courage. You know now what you need to commit. Have the courage, exercise a lot here on the courage, but do it anyway. And you're gonna do, and it's gonna be scary. Remember this. That's part of courage, is not feeling confident. Courage is like embracing fear and doing it anyway. And then you're gonna get capability, and then you're gonna create confidence. See? So don't try and get confidence first, because you got the other steps. I just love it because it really makes a huge difference, not in theory, but in practicality. I'd love to hear from you sometime if you try this and how it goes. So I'm going to finish here with some helpful thoughts that you can borrow. I think they're amazing. I use it for myself. I kind of offer it to my clients, and it really, I mean, it's like you can call them thoughts, you can call them mantras, you can call them new beliefs, but they really kind of back up what you need to create confidence in the way, in the true sense here that we're talking about tonight. So the first one is, I love this one, is there's nothing that can happen that I can't handle, because the worst that can happen is an emotion. So that's the worst thing. We think the worst thing is that people are going to talk about us, I'm going to look stupid, or people are going to judge me. But actually, it's the emotion that you feel when you hear or see. So it's your own emotion that you need to handle, nothing else. You can't control other people. So that's a big relief. In case you didn't know, you can't control what other people think about you. You can't control. You can try and control, but it's very illusion. It's an illusion. You can't control what they feel, so you're never really. And if you're trying to give it up now, you're never going to make people happy, completely happy, and the other way around too. So don't expect people to make you happy, because ultimately we are in control of our own emotions and our minds. So the second one is, I believe in my ability to get results, no matter how long it takes, how many times I have to fail, or what I need to learn. That's quite an amazing one, because it kind of embraces, I know I'm going to fail, and I'm planning for that part as well, and that's fine. And then what people think about me is out of my control, which is what I was saying. So this is such a good reminder to bring with you. What people think about me is out of my control. And you can even add, and what they feel about me is out of my control. And what I think matters, what I think and what I feel matters. I matter. And of course, everyone matters. So before we finish, I have some final tips for you. Because self-doubt is a very familiar feeling, and it can be very indulging. I don't know if you know that term, but in coaching, we use it as an indulgent emotions like confusion or self-doubt. It's like, and having lots and lots and lots of chocolate cake, and you're going to feel sick. And then you have another piece, and it's like, oh, I know I'm going to, whatever, gain weight, whatever the discomfort is, but you just keep eating it because it's kind of yummy and it's sweet. And then you feel really bad. So indulging in self-doubt is like, it's not good for you. It's not benefiting you, but you keep there. You keep just being not sure about yourself. So because of that, what the final tips are is, first of all, pay attention to where, how, and when it's showing up in your life. So important. First thing is awareness. So if you're aware of when it's happening, and just stop, pause, and notice, like, oh, I am thinking that I'm not going to be able to do this, or I'm scared because I think people are going to judge me. So just notice. Don't try and change anything, but notice. The second thing is pay attention to your thought triggers. So what triggers your self-doubt? Is it when you're not dressed in a certain way? Or is it when you need to go and talk to someone? And just pay attention. What triggers that self-doubt to arises? And again, don't try and change anything, but of course, work in your benefit. And pay attention to your mind hygiene. I call it, your mental hygiene. Whatever you do, if it's meditation, self-reflection, self-coaching, but do it. Make sure you have some time, I would say every day, at least 5 minutes to do something. I love the thought download. I use a lot that with my clients and with myself is have a piece of paper and just write down everything that is going on in your brain. No judging, no trying to fix, but just as an exercise to empty what's not serving you and see it in front of you. So that's like a mental hygiene. And the other one is treat your self-doubt as your caged pet. I love that one. I borrowed that one from my coaching teacher, because it's like so good. It's like, it's going to be there anyway. So it doesn't bother you. Just put in a little cage. It's okay. You come with me, because you have to come with me anyway. There's no one else. It's that fear is going to be there, but I'm just going to keep you there in the cage. So it's not like the driver's seat thing. And give whatever you're doing that you want to do. It could be, again, a new project, or you want to start doing talks, or you want a new project or new relationship, whatever it is. It doesn't need to be anything new, by the way. It's like, do that out of service. So if you do it because you're going to contribute in some way or another to the rest of us, it takes you out of the picture. It's like, I think we're so scared of not being good enough, and that's, I think, the biggest fear we have, is because we have this thing that we it's very much on us. It's all about me, how I'm gonna look, how I'm gonna sound. Oh, I'm not there yet. Oh, when I'm ready. So it's so self-focused. So if we actually think about, okay, I'm just gonna serve, I'm just gonna do what I need to do for the fun of it, and so people can, it changes the total, game. It's a very different thing. It's out of service. Whatever, it could even be running, but it still could be out of service to inspire other people, whatever it is. So this is the end of our webinar.